When is the last time you were asked by your doctor, what type of salt are you putting on your food? If anything, we're usually told to simply reduce our intake of salt. And yet, beside oxygen and water, salt is the most essential ingredient for the life of every single cell in your body. But not any old salt will do. The differences between table salt and natural sea salt is staggering. And just by changing the type of salt you're putting on your food will not only improve the quality of your life, it will prevent a huge number of medical issues that usually go unrecognized. Let's dive in. Fact: refined table salt is seriously toxic and long-term makes the body sick. Why? Well, in its defense, it does contain the main ingredients, sodium and chloride. However, to make the salt dry and free-flowing so it doesn't clump together, manufacturers add in an aluminium-based anti-caking agent. Now, unfortunately, this aluminium-based product is carcinogenic, and it is linked to neurological diseases like dementia, Alzheimer's. But as far as minerals go, table salt only has sodium and chloride, and that's sadly it. Unfortunately, there's more bad news. So cheap table salt also contains, wait for it, tiny particles of plastic. And these microscopic tiny particles, they mostly go undetected in the body until they cause massive health issues, which are usually diagnosed as something else anyway. Table salt is known to be collected from polluted waterways, fossil mines, and stagnant lakes. It goes through a bleaching process, of course, to make it shiny white. It's stripped completely of all of its minerals, but as long as it contains the two main ingredients, sodium and chloride, that's it, job done. It gets packaged up, sold around the world. Most of us have no idea that it's really bad for us. We just see the packets of salt in the supermarket. We choose the cheapest one because it's only salt, right? Why pay for the salt that's 5 or 10 times the price? Hold that thought. In comparison, natural sea salt, in particular Celtic sea salt, is harvested by hand in France. It's a practice that has been passed on from generation to generation, and Celtic sea salt contains 82 minerals, including 3 types of magnesium. Now, there is another amazing salt, and that's Himalayan salt. It's mined in Pakistan at the foothills of the Himalayas, and that beautiful pink color is completely natural, and it contains up to 84 trace minerals. So how does Himalayan salt compare to Celtic salt? Well, either one is an amazing addition to anyone's diet, but if I had to choose, well, I'd choose Celtic salt based on how it's beautifully harvested by hand. I do also have Himalayan salt. I love its color, and it does look really good in my salt grinder. So what would happen if we massively reduced salt from our diet? Without enough sodium, well, our heart would cease to pump. Our nerve cells, well, they wouldn't be able to send messages from and to the brain, to the muscles, to the organs. Our brain would stop working. We'd go into complete organ failure. And while sodium is essential, well, there is another mineral that works hand in hand with sodium, and that is potassium, which is also essential for life. And we get most of our potassium from fresh fruit and vegetables. Now, great sources of potassium are things like avocados, spinach, sweet potato, coconut water, beetroot. So how does sodium and potassium work hand in hand? Well, our body is made up of trillions of cells, and every single cell has a unique balance of sodium and potassium inside and outside of every single cell in the body. Now, throughout the life of every cell, sodium and potassium, well, they're continuously moving in and out of the cell. But if either of them is deficient in the body, it causes their balancing act to go completely out of whack. And the side effects just from lack of sodium are everything from lethargy, headaches and irritability, to cramps, convulsions, even kidney problems. Potassium shortage, well, that can result in severe muscle weakness, cramping, low blood pressure, and an irregular heartbeat. So these pretty scary symptoms can all be avoided with a great quality natural sea salt containing all of the trace minerals, and of course having a regular supply of fresh fruit and vegetables. It's interesting, most people I ask, what are your thoughts on salt? And I'm told, well, salt is bad for you. And I ask them, well, why? Why do you think that? I'm told, well, it causes high blood pressure, doesn't it? Or maybe they just don't know. Now, there is a Dr. Jacques de Langre who published a book back in 1987, Sea Salt's Hidden Powers. It's not an easy book to get hold of because with more awareness now around processed unhealthy food, probably due to Dr. Google, most of us are questioning where our food comes from. Is salt good for me? Should I be taking more potassium? So a book like this becomes an in-demand treasure trove of the truth behind the origin and production of the most precious minerals found in sea salt. And interestingly, when Dr. de Langre, he was presented with patients with high blood pressure, and what did he do? He put them on Celtic Sea Salt. Interestingly, if we are salt deficient, water would pretty much move straight through us. It wouldn't be taken into the cells where it's needed. Rather, we'd have a glass of water and be running off to the bathroom not too long after. So if there's the correct amount of sodium and potassium inside and outside of the cells, by the law of osmosis, water is drawn into the cell, and in a fully hydrated state, the cells can carry out an array of chemical reactions to function optimally. Now, we are made up of approximately 50 trillion cells, and there is not a single cell that doesn't need to be fully hydrated to function in every way. Now, if we compare table salt to sea salt, it couldn't be more different. Natural sea salt contains 30% sodium, 50% chloride, and 20% trace minerals. And the trace minerals include potassium, calcium, magnesium. They're all essential to balance the sodium and chloride. Now, table salt, that contains between 95% and 99% sodium chloride, and the remainder is made up of, wait for it, microplastics and aluminium. It is highly processed, it's stripped of all of the trace minerals, and some brands of table salt have been found to contain up to 15% additives. The great news is it's an easy fix. Just throw away your table salt, get yourself some high quality Celtic Sea Salt or Himalayan salt. Let everyone you love know the real truth behind salt. It is not bad for us. If you get the right one, it's essential for optimum health. So love yourself, treat your body like a temple. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.